so expensive, we're staying at room 13. Usually airy and usually very, and that's just how my life goes. And I don't ever try to dress to impress. Fuck you, preppy asshole. On the 14th floor and a bathroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the party is mixed, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. Now she walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's Panthers on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on the deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 159 of Fired Up. Check us out at fireupsports.com. I'm Mike Leto. Joining me as always, Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on?
Not much. Listen, there's not a whole lot going on right now, right? It's it's the middle of June. We're waiting until the All-Star break for baseball, waiting for the trade deadline. The NHL draft's on Friday. The NBA draft is tomorrow. None of that matters because Matvey Michkov is free.
Yeah, he sure is. Oh, am I too loud?
A tad. Yeah,
Okay.
turn it down a little bit.
So, all right,
That's
good?
yeah,
there?
it's good.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
A little higher.
A little higher. That's what she said. How about that? Is that where
That's
we're
good. Perfect.
That's good.
Perfect.
Okay, great. You think we do this before the show? The 8 minutes that we sit before the show.
It's fine. Now it's better late than never.
Yes, that's what she said. So yeah. What a week, man.
Yes.
Compared to where we were 1 week ago when we had our last show, where we had no idea what the hell was going on. Guys, I think you mentioned that I think you mentioned to me that at some point it was going to be like some point in June that we were going to find out. And
They wanted to know by the draft, which, like I said, is Friday.
And June was winding down, so it was a big weekend, man.
It sure was, and a lot of reports, and nobody knew exactly what was happening, but made official today. His team in Russia, SKA or SKA, I don't know how to go about pronouncing that.
I heard somebody say SKA.
Yeah, it's SKA, but I don't know. Yeah, but they officially terminated him from his contract today, and he's free now. I don't know when we should expect, a rookie contract with the Flyers, to sign his entry level deal. I imagine it'll take some time, right? There's things that these agents and teams have to work through, and there's really not much in terms of negotiating when it comes to these rookies deals because they're all baseline, right? Like maybe you could throw in a bonus or two here or there, but there's only so much they're allowed to do.
Right.
So it's not going to be some crazy negotiation. Like this thing, I would imagine would get done fairly quickly.
I'd imagine that the longest process that we're gonna have to wait is the visa, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that.
Yes.
And
So
what's it next week or the week after? Is
next week is the developmental.
Okay, and he's not going to be probably not going to be there because it's going to
he
take
shouldn't be.
a few weeks to get his visa in order and get him over here and settled in.
Yep, but once August comes around, and August and September and training camps open,
he'll be here.
He will be here. Yep. Which when he got drafted, everybody's like, all right, let's buckle up and wait for the 3 years of his contract. It's gonna be worth it. Here we are 1 year later, and it's
not that I have some kind of intuition
also, hold on, real quick.
About it. Yeah,
give me 1 second. I know I'm gonna do this on the fly. You see the blinds in my
it's driving me crazy.
It's driving me nuts right now. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, yeah, we're holding on here while he fixes that blind. It was driving me crazy. Yeah, it was driving me crazy from the beginning. I should have mentioned it before the show started, but
I just noticed it and I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Yeah. So what was I saying here? Oh, not that I have like this crazy intuition, especially about hockey. Like how I don't know as much as you do, but I didn't think it was going to take the full 3 years. I thought it would be longer than this, but
Yeah, same.
I didn't think it was going to take the full 3 years. I thought they were going to somehow figure out how to get him here
Yeah, I
sooner.
thought it was going to be after 2 years. I
Yeah,
thought
I
like
agree.
I thought next offseason would
Next
be having
summer,
the
yeah.
Matvey Michkov thing, but
Correct, right?
I
Me
mean
too.
this probably, like, I would imagine, and I don't think Danny Briere would admit it, but it's got to speed up their timeline a little bit, no?
Yeah, you would think a little bit because like I'm curious to see when they really thought, because they could tell you what they want, but like I'm curious to think when they really thought that he was going to come over. Did they think it was going to be this early, or did they really think that it was going to take 3 years? I think that really
What, when
determined.
when they drafted him?
Yeah.
I think they really thought it was going to be 3 years.
Okay.
I think this is a fairly new development. Like I don't think they put out a report, a statement today saying we just heard about the news. I don't think that's true. I think
They've known about this for at least like a month.
I don't know about a month, but at least a couple weeks. Probably.
When we were talking about it, it was almost like a month ago when we were talking about
Yeah.
the possibility of him.
Well, yeah, that's
nothing was
true. Yeah,
official.
that's true. There was some reports about they're in negotiation basically or whatever, like with him and his team. So yeah, they probably
I think they probably no, maybe they didn't know that he was coming over, but like I think they definitely had some kind of like intuition or like feel that it was gonna come close. How close they really were, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much it speeds up the process and like becoming a contender, but I don't know. I think that's a question for you. Honestly, is what happens next?
Yeah, I still think there's work to do, right? Obviously,
Of course.
As soon as July 1st hits, Travis Konechny's eligible for an extension. That's kind of like, if you follow anybody on Flyers Twitter, that's like the big debate right now is, do you resign him? Do you
Did you
look
see the
to
number?
move on from him?
The rumored number?
I think I read he wants 10, which is crazy.
So I just read about an hour ago on Twitter. I don't remember who posted it, but somebody like who's somewhat credible said that they're trying to meet in a place where both are happy, and they're saying 9.5.
That seems high.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
That seems high.
Because wait, like Connor McDavid makes like what, like 13 or 12.5?
Yeah, something like that. but when Connor McDavid signed that deal, that was probably like 4 years ago, and the cap was nowhere near, like the cap was lower then.
True, right.
So
true.
like the cap's going up next year, and it's supposed to go up another $4 or $5 million the year after that. Now it's probably within $1 million, $1.5 million. Like I think $8 million a year for 7-8 years, I think is reasonable.
Okay. Would you keep him? Like, do you want to keep him or?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually do.
Okay. You wouldn't trade him for draft picks?
No.
Like to move up in the draft?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not really. So the thing is, like, I actually, and this might be unpopular, I would think I would move Farabee before I move Konechny.
I'm probably on that same page, and I'm somebody who's been outspoken about Konechny, especially these last couple of years that we've been doing this show, about how it just always seems like he's supposed to be better than what he is, and he's just, I know he had a really good year last year, so I'm somewhat critical of Konechny, but I don't think I think I would rather trade Farabee than Konechny. I also don't want to pay him $10 million a year.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, like I think 8 times 8 I think is fair. If maybe he could get it up to 8.25, all right, fine.
Yeah,
but much more than that, if he's demanding 9.5, then I look to move on from him.
Okay,
I think that's where I'm at. But I also think you could probably get more for Farabee, and I'd want to trade him before I trade Konechny, just because the thing I like about Konechny is like, he's just fire and passion. Like, he's always working. He's always going. He's 100 miles an hour. Like, it doesn't have. I mean, he's a talented player. Don't get me wrong, but like, he's not Connor McDavid, right? Like, but I think he's just. I just think he's all over the ice. I think he's made tremendous strides since being with Torts, and I think Farabee lacks that compete for me.
Okay.
So I think if you could trade Farabee, and not even necessarily
for just an all around better player too.
Sure, yeah. And Faraby's young and still has room to grow, and like I get it, but for me, I trade Farabee not for draft picks, unless you could move up to the top, I don't know, 2, 3 in the draft. But like I trade Farabee for try to get a first line center, a young first line center.
So
And maybe a team's heavy at center and they need a winger, maybe like a 1-for-1 swap kind of thing.
So the reason I think Farabee fetches you a little bit more than Konechny is because the teams that are trading for Konechny are the teams that are competing, probably, right? Where Farabee is still young enough to where a team that isn't really necessarily competing can try to take him on and say, all right, well, we'll try to not fix him, but like, get the most out of him that maybe we couldn't get here.
Yeah, we can develop him.
Yeah. So I think there's some, some stuff there, but so before I ask you that question of like what if you do trade Farabee for a first line center, a younger guy that can grow here, I actually have the projected lines. Did you see this with Michkov coming over? Okay,
he slots into probably the first line left wing.
He does not. And this is just the projected depth chart. So the first line is Couturier with Forrester and Konechny. The second line is Frost with Tippett and Michkov.
That could be a little fun. That could be a fun line.
It's a lot of speed.
It is. Yep.
Then the third line, you have Lawton, Farabee, and Atkinson, which Cam Atkinson might not be here.
Possibly, yeah.
And then the fourth line is Paling, Cates, and Hathaway. And
I really like that fourth line, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and then then the defense is York and Sanheim, Sealer and Drysdale, and Zamula and Ristolainen. And then the goalies Samuel, Erison, and Fedotov.
Yeah. The net tandem I think is going to be a little rough next year. But,
so I don't know. I don't know if this gives you like because there is like how in like NHL, like Madden or MLB The Show, like they give you the rating of the player.
Yep.
Like the overall rating.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this seems like that's what they're giving you, kind of.
What do you mean?
Like on this site, I could try to show you. Like, so there's a site. See that like green?
Yeah,
those green.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gives you like.
What site are you on?
I saw this on Twitter and I just screenshotted it. So I don't know what the actual site is. It has Michkov as an A- because he doesn't have like an overall yet, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that was like pretty interesting. Yeah, so the goalies, Fedotov doesn't have one because I guess he didn't play long enough. Samuel Erison is rated as 79.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be kind of tough in that. I mean, I know Erison did some pretty good things, in the majority of the season last year.
Is that how you say his name, Erison?
Yeah, Erison.
I was saying Erison. Okay.
I've heard it both ways, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible lineup. Like I don't expect. I don't expect because I think Michkov does so much that lineup. I really do.
I think that team could make the playoffs.
I think I mean, they came win away this year, and you add Michkov into that, so you're thin up the middle there, though. Like I was talking about before.
Well, yeah, Frost is your second line center.
Like right, and
Frost being your one.
Frost, we've been saying it for the last 2-3 years, is like. He shows flashes of being great. He'll go on a 3, 4, 5 game stretch of just looking great, and then he'll disappear for 5, 6. Like you need consistency from Frost. And when Giroux is here, the as good as Giroux is, and as good as everybody loved Giroux, or as much as everybody loved Giroux, the problem with Giroux wasn't Giroux himself.
Right.
It's the fact that he should never be your best player, even during his prime. Yeah, Couturier cannot be your best. Couturier cannot be your best center.
I think it's. Yeah, I agree. I think it's more extreme with Giroux because Giroux was, even though he shouldn't have been your best player, he's still like, one of the league's best, right? Like in his prime, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I just think that they absolutely failed him, and I think Giroux's a way more skilled player than Couturier is.
Agree. Yeah,
in his prime.
It's probably not a fair comparison, but
no, I understand what you're saying, though. I understand what you're saying. I don't think
Couturier can. I don't think Couturier can be your best center. I I want Couturier to be the second line center, Frost the third line center, and I want a number one center. Now they're tough to find. Like that's the thing is
Yeah. So there are a couple of names that I've seen that I'm curious to. So the first name that I saw, I don't know much about him. I looked a little into him. His number seemed a little light. I don't know if he's a first line center or ever going to project to be into that. But I read somebody who said that the Flyers could be interested in making a trade with Ottawa for Pinto.
Yeah, I mean, I like Pinto. He's not a number one center though.
Okay. Do you think he could grow into that? Because he's still young, right?
He's young. He's a different skill set than Morgan Frost, but that's probably his ceiling is the same ceiling as Morgan Frost. Like I don't think either of those guys are number one centers. I like Pinto, but I think he's a second line center, like max out.
Okay. And then the other two were the obvious ones in
Trevor Zegras.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Trevor Zegras.
I thought his numbers are better than I thought they were, honestly. Is he a first line center? I don't know. I don't.
He could be at some point. My problem with Zegras is that he's, and this is going to sound really like boomerish of me, he's too flashy. And what I mean by that is, it's not a bad thing to be flashy, but when it's all you have, that's when I have the issue with it.
I'm gonna look at his numbers.
Okay. He didn't play a lot this year because he was hurt most of the year.
Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt. But like, he doesn't do anything exceptional other than like his stick handling, puck skills, I guess you could say. But like, he's not incredibly fast. He's not slow, but he's not incredibly fast. Doesn't have a great shot. Doesn't play defense particularly well. He literally is just flashy.
And I would really prefer, especially my first line center, to have a little bit of size too.
Sure.
He's 6 foot. Then I just think you put him next to Mitch Cobb, and you have 2 6 foot, forwards. I don't know.
And Zegras almost feels smaller than 6 foot. Like he's a skinny dude.
Yeah. So he played last year. This past year he played 31 games. The year before he played 81. He had 23 goals and 42 assists. It's 65 points.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't scream first line center, but that does scream like a decent play. Like that's like a pretty good.
Sure. How many goals?
Second line guy, 23.
All right.
65 points. The year before 23 and 38 at 61 points.
Yeah. So it's I mean, it's the one dimensional thing. Like he's just flashy, no defense. Like
sure.
I don't know. It's again for the right price, maybe, but I'm afraid what that'll cost you.
And then the other name is the kid from Carolina.
I like him out of all three of them. I like him the most. I think he can grow into being.
How do you say his name?
I've heard it different ways. Nikish or Nietzsche's.
Okay.
I've heard it both ways, but he's a really good player.
But is he a first line center though?
I think he not right now. I think he'd grow into it though.
All right, he'll be 26
what are his
this year.
numbers?
This past year, he played 77 games, did 24 goals and 29 assists, 53 points.
Yeah, man, it's not particularly well, but they haven't really given him a ton of opportunity, which is the reason I think they're thinking about trading him or that he wants to leave. I forget exactly
he's on -9
dynamic there, but they haven't really given him the opportunity. I don't believe he has much power play time either.
Yeah,
with Carolina,
the year before in 82 games, he 28 goals, 43 assists, 71 points.
Okay,
he's a +5.
Yeah.
Zegras also has a ton of penalty minutes.
Does he really?
Yeah. I'll go back because not this year before he had 88 penalty minutes. Where like what's his name, Nietzsche's or Nikas, whatever.
Nietzsche's, yeah.
Nietzsche's. The most he's ever had is 30 or 42. That's like a huge difference.
Yeah. No, I think Nietzsche's just a better overall player than Legos.
He's got more size too.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", 189.
And he's more responsible. You can do it at both ends of the ice.
And I don't think you have to be Eric Lindros. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that extreme with it, but I just think there's like a what's the word I'm looking for? I think it always look at the teams that always compete every year. Look at the two teams that were in the finals this year. Look at their first line centers. Barkov who's what 6'2", 6'3". Yep. McDavid's this, Draisaitl's the same way. who's in it the year? Well, Jack Eichel's probably not 6'3", but like who's there for? He
Jack
might
Eichel's
actually.
not
Yeah,
far off. I'd have to look it up.
I got it right here. Jack.
6'2", 6'2",
Yeah.
203. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I take that back. McKinnon, 2 years, whatever it was, 3 years ago. I just think there's a trend there.
Sure.
And I think that's a big part of it. Even like the good teams in the last few years, like the Winnipeg team, like Scheifele, he's a bigger body. Blake Wheeler's obviously not a first line center, but like the big bodies. I just think that's what helps you succeed. I don't think everybody has to be a big body. I don't think your best player has to be the big body. I just think you have to have a big body, to compete on the boards and
I think it
stuff
helps.
like that. Yeah,
I don't think it helps. And I mean, Couturier is that big body, but he's just not.
He's made of glass.
First line center.
Yeah, he's made of glass.
That too. Yeah.
So I think he took a beating his most of his career. Not a beating, but
sure.
like,
no, he's
took
played
on
the
a
hard
lot of
minutes.
that.
He's played the hard minutes.
Yeah,
which I think
and these last 2-3 years have really caught up to him.
Sure. And there's another, I think, 7 years on that deal or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do if they are aggressive, if they do try to trade up, or if they do try to.
That's where I kind of want to go too. I want to talk about the draft because I will be watching on Friday. I'm just curious to see like what do you think? Who do you like at what are they at 12? Who do you like at 12? Who do you like at 12? And then is there anybody worth moving up for, or that you like that? And I've given you a couple weeks here because I asked you a couple weeks ago. Do your homework because I want to know by the time that the draft comes around, and you told me you were going to do it. So
I did a little bit, not as much as I probably should.
Okay.
So I always, when it comes to drafts and things like that, like it's whether you go position, whether you go best available, like that's always the big debate. This year is a really heavy defense draft, but I think a lot of the good high end ones, I think are going to go before the Flyers, which is unfortunate. So I probably lean center here, like Berkeley Catton. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Catton.
Okay.
Is a nice player. Oh, he also
is he 5'11"?
He also spells his name. Actually, let me look at his size. Let me see if I can find his size. His name's spelled really weird. It's Berkeley, but there's no E. It's Berkly.
Berkly.
Yeah, I don't like that. There should be another E there. So Catton is 5'11", so you're not gonna like
wow, that.
No. Again, he's 17, 18 years old, so Constantinius is a name that I've heard, but I don't love the talent. You could go Cole Eiserman, who like a year ago, Cole Eiserman was probably a top 5 pick. Again, a winger, not a center, but he probably a top 5 pick. He's slid down the draft boards because I've heard not so great things from like scouts and everything. Like that
in terms of
selfishness. Apparently, like he's a pure goal scorer, but apparently, I didn't watch a ton of him, but from what I've heard, he's like gone out of his way, look off passes just because he was trying to just break the goal record, basically.
Okay.
Which I think raises red flags. And after the whole Cutter Gauthier thing, I don't know that I really want, another player, another selfish player out of the national U.S. development team or development program.
What about speaking of that, I we'll get back to the draft. Speaking of the U.S. Development team, what about the kid from Winnipeg? I've heard his name too. The kid they drafted, I don't know, it was like a year or two ago.
Rucker McGroarty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched none of them. He's had a tremendous college career, but I don't know enough about him. I don't know if he could max out as a first line center or second line center.
Okay.
I'd be interested. Like, I'm curious what that would take to trade for him. Like, I wonder if the Flyers were to offer them, because the Flyers have 2 first round picks. If the Flyers were to offer them pick 32 for him, I wonder if they'd take it.
Okay.
And if I'm Flyers, I might consider that, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, going back to the draft. That just reminded me of that.
Yeah, and then But after like those two guys, the Catton and Hellenius, like there's really not a whole lot of centers. Like I think there's a chance Caden Lidstrom, who's probably a top 3 or 5 pick, could fall to them at 12 because
I saw a
apparently
mock draft today that had him at 13.
yeah, he's gone. I've seen him anywhere from like 4 to 13, like you said, because he's got a ton of talent. But apparently,
What's his first name?
Caden.
C.
Yep. But like he's had a pretty big back injury from what I've heard.
Okay.
And I think he's in the process of rehabbing it, I think.
Wow, he's gigantic.
Yeah, he is big. Yep. He's a good player, but I think the injury could scare some teams, especially this young having a back injury. Like that could scare off some teams.
He's 6'4".
Yeah, no, he's a big guy.
Is there anybody that you could see outside of Lindstrom kind of fall a little bit? Because I did. I was reading. I did a little homework today.
Okay.
I saw a couple names that could potentially drop to around the Flyers, whether that's 10 or 10 between 10 and 14. I don't know. I like because I don't. Again, LeSun, is he a center?
He's center, left wing.
Okay.
I'm not somebody.
Yeah, I'm not somebody sitting here saying like, "Oh, go get again, LeSun." You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. I was just curious about him. I think he's a little small too. I think he's around.
He's a good talent though. It's
yeah.
If Calgary picks at 9, if they don't pick Iginla,
and he's there,
it's a crime.
Yeah.
Even if they don't think it's the best player, like I feel like, you know how much money you make just from jersey sales and things like that. Like, I don't know. I mean, just for the story, you got to do it.
Yeah, for sure. But is there any? You think there's anybody else that could potentially
could fall
slide? That might be
like
worth
I said,
it.
Lindstrom, but like maybe some of the defensemen, like Sam Dickinson. I think I don't want to say come out of nowhere, but like so he's the defenseman. He played with Oliver Bonk at London in the OHL. He had an unreal season and an unreal Memorial Cup. So like that kind of shot him up draft boards.
What's his name?
Sam Dickinson. Yeah. So he's a defenseman. So like maybe he slides a little bit, and I would like Sam Dickinson at 12. I like that a lot.
Okay.
And then like I'm curious. I've heard a lot of things like the Flyers trying to move up potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And like I wonder how high. Like if a guy, listen, we just talked about Mishkov a whole lot.
His teammate.
They dealt with Fedotov. Like they have this relationship with Russia apparently now. Maybe you go Ivan Demidov.
So what's his deal? Would he come over right away, or does he have to wait?
No, he's got to wait as well. I think he's under contract. I don't think it's as long as Michkov's contract was though.
Okay.
Because he's projected to go probably in the top 3.
I've seen some mock drafts between 2 and 5.
Yeah, and if it was longer, I think he would drop a little bit. But let's say he falls to 6.
Yeah. Do you try to move up?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it works.
He's a little small too.
He is.
He's 5'11".
I'm trying to see if I can find his contract with the KHL.
And not that you can't be a great player. Look at the today who they announced in the Hall of Fame, like Pavel Datsyuk. Like you could be a small player and be great. I just don't want like 4 of them. you know.
Yeah. Right. Sure. Okay, so he only has 1 year left on his contract.
That's not bad.
This is based off a scout. This is from The Athletic. They talked to a scout. The scout believes Demidov doesn't want to extend his contract and will definitely go overseas after next year, meaning the North America. So it's not like after next year he'll come over.
I think I'm in the position where if they stay at 12, I take the best player available. I know that they this fucking guy.
So I talked to him today. Friend of the show Dogs to talk to us, spit on that thing. I told him that he wanted me to like play drops and shit throughout the show. I meant to take it up, but I completely forgot to get set up. But
so I want to take the best player available if they say 12, but I just think if a guy that is worth moving up for, like tends to slide, I think it's worth moving up for. I just don't want them to take like the best defenseman available if there's a winger that's better. You know what I mean? If they're at 12. I just don't think they're in a position where they can do that. I think they just need as much talent as they possibly can. Now, when they pick 12, a defenseman might be the best player available. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm always in the mindset of like best player available.
Yeah, I agree with that. But again, it's because Cole Eiserman might be at 12 the best player available. It's just the selfish angle that I was talking about before scares me a little bit. But like, would I hate the pick? No, I wouldn't, because I think he is a tremendous talent. But it's it's red flags. I'll say that.
Sure. It sucks because the Flyers need a goalie, they need a first line center, they need a number one defenseman, and like it would suck to like pick the best best player available who's a winger, but like I don't know. I just think there's a lot of teams that need a lot of things, so like get in line, but like yeah, I don't know. It really sucks. What I was thinking about today, just the fact that all right, the Flyers 74-75, they go back to back, right, and then. What did they lost in 76, I guess, or their team close? Yep. Yeah, losing 76. They lose in 80.
Reggie Leach won the MVP for the losing Flyers, which didn't happen again until 2024 when Connor McDavid did it.
Right. So 74-75 they win. 76 they lose. 80 they lose. What did they lose in 87?
87.
Then the late 80s come. Well, then the late 80s come, and things in the early 90s are looking bad, and they trade for Lindros, and Lindros comes in, and when what was it 90? I think it was 97, wasn't it?
Was it 97? Yeah,
97. They lose in the finals.
I know 95.
Yeah,
they get curb stomped in the finals.
Yeah, 4-0.
Yep.
I mean, they played a fucking like
a wagon of a team,
dynasty.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was reading something today. I don't know how many Hall of Famers that 97 team had on it, but the 02 Red Wings had 10 Hall of Famers on it.
Did they win
10.
it 02?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
But I don't remember how many were they still there in 5 years prior.
Sure.
But in 02 they had 10 Hall of Famers.
Right. So then 97 they lose, and then what was it, like 95 or so till like 2012? They've only missed the playoffs twice in that span.
Sure.
They go to what? 2 Eastern Conference Finals in that run?
The one against Tampa.
No, 3. Tampa, Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And then
the Cup.
Then they go to the Cup in 10.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you see at least 3 Eastern Conference Finals in that time span, and then
a lot of competitive hockey.
Yeah, of course.
Like even when
in
they
the playoffs every year,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Losing in the close series in the second round, stuff like that. They go to the finals, they lose in 2010. 11 comes, and I don't think they're very good. Or no, they make the playoffs in 11, don't they? I think they pull Bobrovsky, don't they? In 11.
Oh yes, yep.
In the playoffs,
yep.
So 2012 comes, we know what happens. They beat Pittsburgh in the first round, they lose to New Jersey in the second round, and ever since then, it's been so up and down, so roller coaster, mostly down than up. I think it was like every other year they made the playoffs, aside from like the last like couple of years. But so I think like 2013 they missed the playoffs, 2014 they made the playoffs, 2015 they lost, 16 they won. Losing in the first round on all of them.
Yep.
In that time span, the draft picks did not pan out, right? Like a lot of the picks did not. Sam Morin didn't work out.
That was the first one that popped in my head too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scott Lawton, who's a nice player, didn't pan out to be a first round
fine
pick.
Player, yeah.
Right. Sanheim, another one. A nice player, looks great one year. He's Aaron Nola. Looks great one year. The next year, he doesn't. He looks lost.
Yep.
Maybe a first round pick, but like, isn't that first line defenseman or first line defenseman that we really need? And then you kind of come into the 2020s, and Claude Giroux, we've already talked about. It wasn't his fault, but this organization kind of failed him. And you move on from Claude Giroux and Wayne Simmons and Jake Voracek, and you kind of let that core go. And you come into this with Carter Hart, who we know what happens with him, off the ice issues, character issues, all this stuff. And then earlier this year, we find out that Cutter Gauthier doesn't want to be here.
Along the way, you missed another gigantic swing.
Did I? Which one?
The Nolan Patrick thing.
Oh, Nolan Patrick. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's that. He fits into that. That those draft picks that just don't, that are busts. And then like I said, Cutter Gauthier doesn't want to be here, and it would be, and as much as we're gonna hate him, and we're gonna hate him forever. How sweet would it be to walk into this season with potentially two guys who could go up for Rookie of the Year, like whatever the award in is hockey for Rookie of the Year, but like having Michkov and Gauthier together,
sure,
to grow together, to be the face of the franchise, together. It just seems like this organization for 50 years has just taken it on the chin every year. And it's like, for the first time in a really long time, it kind of feels, and when I say a really long time, because I felt this way for Gauthier. Like I thought Gauthier was a really good player. He's got great size. He could score. He's all over the ice. He's fast.
So you don't remember do you remember what day Gauthier was traded?
Was it January?
It's got to be sometime in January. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
It was definitely, I think it was this calendar year.
January 8th.
Okay.
I have a tweet from January 5th, 3 days prior.
I remember this tweet.
I cannot wait until Gauthier and Michkov are on the same line. Shit's going to be electric. He was traded 3 fucking days later.
And we had no idea.
No clue.
That's the crazy part, is like, we found out later that they went to Sweden to see him, and they wouldn't talk to him, or he wouldn't talk to the Flyers. But yeah, it's just like we felt excited for Gauthier. I felt excited for Gauthier. I thought he was going to be a great player, and he still might be. But it just seems like this is the first time in a really long time that it feels like it's gonna work out. And maybe we felt that way with Patrick, before he hit the ice. Maybe we felt that way about Carter Hart. And Carter Hart was a really good player. It's just, obviously off the ice stuff. But it kind of feels refreshing a little bit. I'm just waiting for him to be I'm just waiting for us to find out he's a Russian spy or something.
The all gotcha moment.
Yeah. He's a Russian spy.
Yeah, right. All to get us back for 1980, right?
Yeah, right.
So.
But yeah, no, it just feels refreshing. It kind of feels like, we're kind of heading in the right direction. It's just, and I felt that way ever since Briere and Keith Jones kind of took over. And I'm somebody who was very against let's just keep it in house, like always.
It feels different.
Yeah, of course. That's the thing, is I'm not totally against the idea of keeping it in house. It's just got to be the right guys, and I didn't know how it felt.
And it's got to be refreshing for lack of better voices. I was tired of hearing the same message from Paul Holmgren.
Right.
He's been with the organization for 50 years. I'm tired of hearing that voice. I'm tired of hearing the Bobby Clark voice.
Sure.
Danny Briere, sure, he has a history with the organization. Same with Keith Jones, but they're younger. They're they
understand the evolution of
sure, yeah,
the game.
100%,
yeah,
100%.
They understand they're technically the youth of front office for the Flyers, right?
Yep.
It's not, like you said, it's no more of 70-year-old guys running this team. So,
right.
Yeah, it feels refreshing with Briere and Jones because, and again, it's cool and all that they're transparent, or as transparent as we've ever seen, front office people be, but it just feels different. It feels like they're really trying to figure this out. Not that the other guys weren't, but it just feels like they have something to lose, where Paul Holmgren, he knows he's going to be here forever. And Bobby Clark knows he's going to be here forever, no matter how shitty they're, doing. It kind of feels like Briere and Jones know that we have to get back to a certain time, and we have to bring this back, and we have to make the right picks, or, we're screwed.
Our job.
I think that's a good thing,
Yeah. Oh, sure. 100%. Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Who knows how good they're going to be? Who knows what moves they're going to make? But I expect game one when Mitch Collins in the lineup. Me and you, hopefully, will both be. We're getting tickets.
Yeah.
So
when
it's gonna be electric though.
When is the first game going to usually? What's it?
Usually
Late September?
The second preseason or regular season?
The regular season. I want to go regular season. I don't care about
Usually,
preseason.
yeah, same. It's usually the second week of October.
Okay.
Because it used to be the first week, but I think when they got the ESPN rights, or ESPN got the rights, they pushed it back a week because ESPN has baseball
And NBA too.
and NBA. Yeah, so I think it got pushed back
because I think NBA moved up a week.
Right.
In the last few years. So
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, no, I'm in. As long as long as you're
no, you got a point.
Hopefully,
it's like
that's why I'm like, is it
after,
September? Is it September or October?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like 2 or 3 weeks after the kid's supposed to come. So we'll see. It's TBD, but
right. I'll just FaceTime you from the stands.
Yeah. Is it too early to bring?
Or you could
FaceTime.
I was gonna say, or you could FaceTime from the game while your wife is in labor.
Yeah, there you go.
Mitchkov just scored, and as she's pushing, and his middle name has to be Mitchkov. Then,
yeah, could you imagine in today's climate when everybody hates Russia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, is it too early to bring a 1-week-old to a Flyers game? Is that
right?
That's that frowned upon. But yeah, it's I'm excited. It's hockey feels back, and it's June, and we're talking Flyers, so
yeah, it feels like it's going in the right direction.
Yep.
So.
Now there's, we talked about earlier, there's a bunch of questions to be answered. The center, the draft, what moves they make. Does Drysdale take the next step next year? There's still questions to be answered, and I feel like we're gonna find out a lot next season.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
I agree.
All right. Phillies lost one today. It's just business until up the trade deadline, right? There's. By the way, I know Shohei's having an unreal season so far, and I think he's still the front runner for MVP. Bryce Harper's just on another level right now.
He's stupid, dude. Tonight was, I think, the 6th straight game where he had an extra base hit. So he's on a 6-game extra base hit streak.
He's got 3 home runs in the last 2 or 3 days, right?
Yeah, I think he's on a hitting streak too. I don't know what it is. It might be double digits, but yeah, on a hitting streak, can't stop hitting home. I just watched a compilation video from May to today, or to mid-June, of just Bryce Harper highlights, and it's 4 minutes long. It's just Homer, RBI, 3 RBI or 2 RBI double,
and it's a month worth of shit.
Yeah, sack fly, walk off sack fly, Homer. It just doesn't stop. And the difference between him and Ohtani is Ohtani's great. I love Ohtani. Ohtani's great. He deserves to be in the conversation, but Harper plays the field too. He plays elite defense. So
you could argue he's up for the Gold Glove.
He has absolutely
close.
He's number 1 in All-Star voting too.
I was about to say, isn't it kind of crazy that Bryce Harper has never been in an All-Star game in a Phillies uniform?
Him and Jimmy Rollins are the 2 guys that weren't in the All-Star game the year they won their MVPs. So yeah, it's kind of wild.
What's the deal with Harper the year he won the MVP? Why didn't he play the All-Star game? Was he not voted in, or was he hurt or something? I forget exactly what happened.
No, he wasn't hurt. It was 2021. I feel like that year, if you look at the MVPs, it was him, Freddie Freeman, and it may have been Arenado or it was somebody else. They all didn't really have the greatest season ever. I think Harper had 90 RBIs and 30 homers or something. You'd have to fact check that, but I feel him and Freddie Freeman were the top 2 vote getters, and they didn't have that 40 homer, 120 RBI, hitting 300 season. He probably hit 280, 290. Because I think Harper only has 1 year here. It was his first year here with 35 and 115 or 114.
Trying to see if there's a way to pull up the voting finalists, because I see the finals. I can't. For some reason, all the voting. So
his MVP year, he hit. So he played in 141 games, 599 plate appearances. Led the league in doubles. He hit 35 and 84.
Okay.
And he hit 309. So what did Freddie do that year? Because I'm pretty sure Freddie was second.
Okay, no. All right. So no, so in 2021, Harper was selected by the fans as an All-Star, but was unable to play after breaking his
Okay.
left thumb.
Okay.
Right?
Is that 2021? I thought that was.
Wait, hold on.
I thought that was 20.
Yeah, because Google
Was that 22?
Because the following season says he didn't make the All-Star team in 19 or 21. So yeah, it might have been 22.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 22. He broke his thumb, and then he came back. Who broke his thumb? Was it in St. Louis? It was like early. It was early in the year. He broke his thumb. He was after like a month. He came back, was hot for like 3-4 weeks.
All right. Here it is. As odd as it sounds, Harper has been an All-Star once as affiliate since joining the club in 2019. He was selected as a DH in 2022, but was unable to play due to a thumb injury. Okay, so there you go. But I don't know why he didn't get voted in 2021. I'm curious, like how close that voting was.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine he still would have been really, really, really good. Like if he won the MVP, like I don't think it all happened at the end, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So okay, so
it's a long time ago. It was a long time ago, all right?
So I'm pretty sure. So I have the voting here.
The whole entire list?
Yeah. So Harper was first. Soto was second. I thought Friedman was second.
Harper was first? Then how did he not play in the All-Star game in 2021?
In 21. I mean, the MVP award, I'm saying.
Oh, MVP. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So it was Harper, Soto, Tatis were the top three.
Okay.
For MVP. Brandon Crawford was on there. Trey Turner, Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Riley, Tyler O'Neill, and Freddie Freeman.
Okay.
Nick Castellanos was 12th. That was the year. He had that crazy year, the 34 homers.
Yeah.
And then he came here. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that it's a big deal that Bryce plays, elite defense as well as, as well as he's playing offensively. So
yeah, so I only have like the first round of votes. It was Acuna, Castellanos when he was with Cincinnati, Winker, Betts, Soto, Chris Taylor, then Harper was seventh in voting after phase one. I don't know what he ended up with but
he must have had a crazy second half.
Yeah, that's wild. But he will make it this year, assuming he doesn't get hurt.
And I'll start too. Yeah, God forbid.
Right, yeah.
You think he does the Derby?
I don't know. Do you want him to? Like, I know that's a big debate
not?
every year. Well, I know it's a big debate every year.
Fuck
Is like, will it fuck with a guy swing? But
yeah, I trust him enough.
Yeah. But I don't know. Do you want him like? It's a lot of like, I don't know, work on your back. Yeah. I guess he does. He swings violently anyway.
He's a freak, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He is. Sure. I mean, why not? I think he'd want to do it.
Yeah,
if
for
they
sure.
ask him,
Where is it? Sure, Texas.
Is it? I don't know.
It's Texas.
Good question.
It's weird that they do double. They go back to back American League because last year was Seattle, but I guess because it was supposed to be there in 2020. The Rangers. I guess they moved it back.
Isn't it going to be here in like 26?
26, yeah. Somebody asked me if I'd be interested. Was it Chris? Might have been Chris who asked me if I'd be interested in if I had the opportunity. And I said, well, yeah, obviously, I think it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And he asked me, and I answered before he could ask me. I said I'd probably rather go to the Derby though if I had to choose.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the Derby is kind of fun. I don't know that I really care about either of them, to be honest.
Okay.
About going.
So I just think it's like a thing you just do. Like it's not like I'd follow it every year and like.
Do you think a Derby? Do you think a Derby would be fun if you're not sitting in the outfield? I feel like that'd be the best. I mean, if you're not sitting in the outfield, what's the point?
I mean, you get to see homers. It's
yeah, it's just batting practice at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd be more interested in that.
So 2024 this year is in Arlington, in Texas. And then next year is Truist Park in Atlanta, and then 26 is Citizens Bank Park. So they're doing 2 years, the
2
American
years
League,
NL.
and then 2 NL.
So
yeah.
2020 was supposed to be Texas. Obviously, COVID pushed it back because they already had 21, 22, and 23 picked. So they pushed it back to 24. And then the reason Atlanta's pushed back to 25 is because of there was like some kind of like political thing going on that the baseball removed the bid to like play there.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. And I think that was supposed to be in 2019 or whatever year it opened. And then it got pushed back to 2025. So
yeah. So it opened in 2017. I don't know if that's when the All-Star game was supposed to be, but
I think it was 2019 that it was supposed to be there.
Okay.
Because then they pushed up.
It doesn't say anything about that on this.
Okay. I
article,
do know,
but I trust you.
Yeah. They shut down like because a lot of movies shoot there in Atlanta and around down like a lot of movie sets and stuff. A lot of like businesses like you know, a lot of businesses took their services out of Atlanta and Georgia because of this whole thing, but I'm pretty sure that's why. I'm pretty sure that's why.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, what else really is there to talk about with the Phillies right now?
Bomer is hot again.
Bomer's hot. Yep.
Stott needs to figure it out. I think it's wild. Yeah, I think the whole like voting process for fans is crazy because like Johan Rojas was like, 7th or 8th in voting when he's not eligible anymore, but like Castellanos is like up there in voting. Like these guys don't deserve to be in an All-Star game over other guys, but like it's kind of crazy. I mean, and do you know if they do like their own voting process too, or is it just through the fans?
I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It reminds me
I think if it's that way, then like Castellanos doesn't get in.
Do you remember the year in the NHL All-Star game when John Scott got sent in?
No.
So John Scott was just an enforcer. Like that's all he was. He obviously wasn't an All-Star. And they did, I think for the first time in a while, they did like this All-Star vote. And the fans just to troll just said, let's put this enforcer in the All-Star game. And then he ended up playing his balls off in the All-Star game and won the All-Star game MVP.
This was like recent, right?
It was 2017, 2016.
Okay.
Was it that? I don't know. I'll have to look. That was
15,
2016. Yeah, I was right. I nailed it.
Yeah.
So, but it's like this guy clearly doesn't belong in the All-Star game.
Right.
He's just some random enforcer that's like, between the NHL and AHL, basically.
I think that the guys that do get in and should get in are Harper, Turner, Bohm.
You think Turner?
Yeah.
You don't think his time on the injured list should affect that?
I think he was so good before, and he's still playing pretty well right now.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think he starts. I don't think he should start. But I think Harper and Bohm should start. I think JT probably has a case to get in.
The injury won't. Yeah, obviously. I mean,
right? Because right now, I think they tried to get him. They're trying to get him back before the break, but
from what
I read the other day,
either. Anyway,
the what?
So I don't want to play in that anyway. Like, wait till after the All-Star game get healthy.
I read today that they're probably gonna aim for the first game out of the All-Star break.
Makes sense.
To be back. But I think Bohm, Harper, Turner, and Wheeler, Ranger.
I mean, you look at the bullpen. I mean, who goes into the bullpen too?
It's honestly
Strom.
Strom, Hoffman, and Alvarado have a case.
So I'm saying, like, it's never gonna happen because every team needs, a representative or two. But like,
I think like the most
you could argue there's like 9 All-Stars on this team.
I think the most they'll do is like 6 or 7 for a team. And it sucks because like Jeff Hoffman, who's having a really good year, is probably not going to get it. Like,
no,
You know what I mean? Because the other guys, but I do think Harper and Bohm start, and they should start.
You do think they both start?
Yeah,
I'm curious if like they.
you can even say Schwarber too, dude. Like, not to start, but to make the All-Star team.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any sort of like results right now. See,
Because I think Otani's the starting DH.
So Remuto is runner up right now, catcher. Harper.
The gray means that they're technically like in. Like if the voting ended and like I think that means that they're in, right?
I'm not looking at whatever you're looking at. I don't know.
Okay.
I just have a regular list. Harper is first. I just have the leader and the runner up. That's all I have.
Okay.
Harper's first for first base. Bohm is first for third base. Turner's the backup. Is a runner up for shortstop. Marsh is, I guess, fourth.
See, like Marsh is not an all-star, you know?
Yeah, well.
But this is what I'm saying, like the fan voting is crazy. Like Castellanos,
Sure,
Marsh,
yeah.
and Rojas should be nowhere near the all-star game.
Yeah.
And I love Marsh.
Sure. And then, do I not have pitchers on here? Or did they not vote on that yet?
I haven't seen anything about voting for pitchers. So the list that I've seen it gives you like the top 10 guys for voting.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's a list I
And
wanted.
like the top two outside of the outfielder, because I think the outfielders are 7 or 8 of them. The top 2 are like in gray, and then everybody else is in white. I think the gray means like they get in, and then the first place guy is the starter, and then they'll do like extra guys later on, like to fill out the rest of the roster. I'll see if I can try to find it and send it to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the actual like rundown, but I can't find it fucking anywhere. If only I did this research before we did the show.
Yeah, I just think you were so rock hard on Michkov that we didn't even think.
That's probably what it was.
Let's see. I've seen it all over fucking Twitter like for the last 2 weeks, and now I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Here, I'll send it to you.
All right. I know. I got it. Hold on. I found it. All right. So I'm looking at that's the American League. Give me the National League. Here we go. All right. So Remuto's second for catchers.
Contreras is first.
Contreras is first. Harper is first. Freddie Freeman second for first base. Second base, Marte and Arias is first.
Which
and
is
second.
correct.
Bresnastott's not far behind.
No, he's not. But he doesn't deserve to be an all-star this year. In my opinion.
He started all. He slowed down.
Yeah,
but
he started off really bad, and then picked it up for like a month, and then he's been really bad.
Yeah,
since like the end of May.
Right. Alec Boehm is first for third baseman. Mookie Betts is first for shortstop. Trey Turner second.
I'm curious though because Betts is probably not going to be available to play. So
true. Yeah. So maybe Turner starts.
Maybe Turner does start.
Turner to Ellie De La Cruz, who's third. It's not even close in terms of votes. Not even.
It's like
close.
almost 500,000.
Yeah.
More votes.
Then DH Shohei's 1, Ozuna's 2,
which
and Schwarber's pretty close to Ozuna. So like
those
I
are
can
the
see
top
him
3 in the right order too.
Yeah.
Ohtani, Ozuna, Schwarber.
And then outfield, Profar's first. Is he even that good this year?
He's hitting like 3.
Is he really?
Yeah. I got a funny story about him.
He's been like a journeyman. Like I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird one. Yelich is 2, Teoscar Hernandez 3, Tatis 4, Marsh 5, and Castellanos 6. And so he's still Johan Rojas 7.
Yeah. So he Profar's 10 homers, 50 RBIs. He's hitting 317.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's having a really good year. But I got a funny story about him after the show that I can't. Okay. That I don't want to say on the air.
All right. Okay. But yeah, I mean, right now. So if it ends today, there's 1, 2.
Well, this is just
3,
a fan voting. I don't know if there's more.
4 or 5 Phillies, and that's not including pitching.
Right. I don't know if this is like the end all be all.
Right.
I'm not sure how it works. If it is, then you're right. But
also 6, not 5. 6 if you include JT. 5 without JT.
And 7 if you say Schwarber, who
If he
you
can
know,
catch a
is if he's a throw in too, because they're gonna have guys like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 18 guys. Like I imagine that are in gray. I imagine they throw in like, you know, another like a third first baseman and like a third second baseman and like, you know, a third DH like here and there. Because that's how they usually do it.
Right.
The rosters expand, I think.
And yeah, this isn't even including the pitching. So
right.
I mean, it definitely Wheeler, right? Definitely Ranger at this point.
Yeah.
And like you said, pick any of Alvarado, Strom, Hoffman.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I think that's everything.
That'll wrap it up.
It's a summer.
It's summer, and we spent 95% of the show talking about the Flyers.
Yeah,
Flyers are back. So we're gonna get out of here. You know, maybe some interesting stuff will happen with the Phillies this week, and we'll have more to talk about them, and we'll have the NHL draft. Yeah, anything about the what's that?
Holy shit!
What happened?
The huge trade in the NBA.
Okay, I was about before we sign off. I was about to ask you about the NBA and the draft and everything.
Holy shit!
What happened? Breaking news. Did this just happen? By your side, it had to have been like the Bucks or the Celtics or
the Knicks.
The Knicks. Okay, that was my next guess.
Mikal Bridges gets traded to the Knicks.
Really?
5 first-round picks and Bojan Bogdanovic.
Is Bridges that good where he fetches 5 first-round picks?
No. They way overpaid, but I really wanted him here.
Chris just sent in the group chat. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But 5 first-round picks seems like a lot, no?
No, it is a ton. He's a really good number 3. Like he's a great number 3. Mikal Bridges, really versatile. Can shoot, can play defense. He's a wing. He's not a big body, but a bigger body. He's exactly what the Sixers needed. Exactly what they needed. A guy that can be your third scorer. A guy that could shut down Jason Tatum. A guy that could shut down Brunson. A guy that could shut down Halliburton. You know, the guy. You know, the other team's star. Yeah, that sucks, man.
Okay, he's kind of that's kind of been the rumor, like people speculating that like he's the guy they should go after.
Yeah, no, he should have. I mean, listen, giving up 5 first-round picks kind of isn't really like, you know, look at what Durant just got traded for last year. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was like 3 first-round picks, like 4 players, like 3 pick swaps. Like, it's kind of comparable.
Yeah, they throw these first-round picks around, like
which is fine. Like I'd be okay with trading the 5 first-round picks for Bridges. He's not worth it, but like. He's exactly what they needed, and like that, you're trying to win.
Sure.
So the Knicks find it that way too. So
does it make the Knicks a contender?
It depends what else they do. If Randall comes back and they don't trade Randall, I think they're way better than they were. Yeah. Like Anunoby's gone. I think Bridges is a better player than Anunoby, but that means that because Anunoby, like, I don't know if you saw it was today or yesterday, he opted out of his contract.
Okay,
to become a free agent. So that's, they gave up a ton. See, that's the thing is they gave up a ton for him and now he walked away. Now they gave up a ton for Bridges.
Right.
So they're going to have to make this work with these 3 guys.
What's his contract like, Bridges? Is he like signed so if he could leave in 2 years and they give up 5 first-round picks for that's kind of hilarious.
I don't know contract. Mikal Bridges. I know he's 28.
Okay,
so he's not like 24. Like
right, he's not young. He's not old, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's not young.
Why is this not working? Oh, here we go. So he is a free agent after next year.
I mean, that's crazy. 5 first-round picks for a guy who's could leave in a year.
Well, Brunson's contract is up after this year too.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to find a way to pay all, which they can. But that's what makes me believe that they're gonna think that they could just keep these guys, keep these guys together.
Yeah.
But it's just, oh my God, it's gonna be so annoying now because they're gonna be the Nova guys. He just adds with the, now it's the 4 Nova guys.
Fuck Nova.
It's just so annoying.
I can tell when it happened. You were so deflated. Do Sixers have a first round pick this year?
Yeah, they pick at 16.
16. Whose pick is that?
Not the Clippers.
It's obviously not theirs.
I forget who it is. Honestly,
Okay,
I'm so upset right now.
Is there anybody you're like you?
There's one name.
There's
There's one name there's one name that really excites me.
Okay.
And he's projected to go around like the 14 to like 18 mark, which is the Sixers are right in there. Jared McCain, he's a guard from Duke.
Okay.
Very good player, very good value at that point. This is one of the worst drafts in like the last 25 years.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, not that they need it, but
yeah. Well, I think it's somewhat important because I think they could get a young guy who could grow a little bit with them. They're not going to get a superstar at 16. Like Maxey is an outlier when they drafted him at 20 or 21. But I think McCain can actually be a guy that is a legit, could be a starter somewhere eventually in his career, whether it's here or somewhere else. If he were to get drafted here, I think he's one of those guys that gets picked later in the first round or mid first round and like becomes a nice player.
Are you in or out?
Some mock drafts have him coming here.
Okay, I'll be keeping an eye on that then.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're out on Bronny.
Yeah, no, I don't want nothing.
What if it gets you LeBron?
No thanks.
You wouldn't take Bronny just to bring LeBron in?
Nah, I wouldn't.
If Chris was on, he would have had a different answer.
Yeah, we'd fight. But thank God he's not on because I'm so upset right now. LeBron's not leaving LA. It's not gonna happen.
Even if Bronny gets drafted by someone, you don't think so?
I'm expecting tomorrow night, or really, because do you know that the second round starts at 4:00 on Thursday?
I've been saying the last couple weeks. It's so dumb. They're doing
I agree. It's stupid that's 2 nights,
days.
but the reason it's starting at 4:00 is because the debates I think are Thursday night.
Okay.
So they're like not trying to compete with it,
Sure.
but yeah, I think that he goes back to LA and Bronny just kind of either doesn't get drafted and then signs with the Lakers and undrafted. Like I had this thing in my head where I think LeBron was like trying to be a puppet master and like Rich Paul is kind of like doing things to like make sure that nobody drafts him so that he could either be drafted by the Lakers or
when do they pick?
I don't fucking know. They won't take him in the first round. Nobody's gonna take him in the first round.
He's not first round talent.
He might not be draft talent.
If he had a different father, he probably wouldn't. Like, nobody would even know who he is.
If he had a different father, he would go back to college. He would.
Right.
He's that player. He should go back and develop a little bit. Because then maybe he could become a first round pick or a second round pick. But right now he's not even like draftable. Like from what I'm reading. Like it's so funny because it's like the Rich Paul LeBron effect is like his whole career. He's been listed as 6'4". He came to the combine and was like listed at 6'1".
Right.
So, I don't know how good or bad he's gonna be, but I just don't want to take that chance on my team where like he takes a spot from somebody else because of who his father is and like somebody that maybe deserves it a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on it and talk about what happens next week. Maybe there's a big trade out there that they can make to try to combat the Bridges move, but
it just seems like they're gonna do like
run it back.
No, I don't think they're gonna run back. They're gonna add somebody. They're just gonna add the wrong guy.
Yeah,
really the only name that like really like. If I got that notification that said the Sixers traded for Mikal Bridges, dude, I would be on for another hour talking about it. Like that's how excited I would be.
Yeah.
The only thing
you're crushed right now.
Yeah. The only thing like I would probably be like semi excited for is like maybe Brandon Ingram, and like that's like
Was he the Fultz draft?
We looked at this draft like 3 weeks ago,
we literally did
all these drafts, and I can't remember. I think he was the Ben Simmons draft. I think he was the Ben
Simmons,
Simmons. Yeah. I'd be like somewhat excited, not excited, but like okay, like because I don't want Anunoby. I don't think Anunoby stays on the court enough. He's too always hurt. Doesn't do enough offensively. He's a really good defender, but he's gonna want too much money. Paul George isn't coming here. I don't want Jimmy Butler at 35 for the next 4 years. The exciting thing about Ingram is that he's good offensively. Like on this team, he could average like 20, 22. But the good thing about him is that he's a free agent after next year. So you trade for him. You can't give up a ton. That's the only thing is like, I don't want to give up a ton for a guy that's going to be a free agent. So you have him at 36 million, which actually isn't a ton compared to like Tobias Harris is making like 43.
Right.
But like Brandon Ingram, who's a better player, is making 36 million. So like you could still add a little bit to the like rotation, as well as like if it just doesn't work out this year, then like you could just move on.
Right.
But that's like the only thing that's like got me like, okay, like, you know, I'm a little interested, but I don't know.
Right.
I'm crushed.
I could tell your energy just left your body. So we will see what moves they make and report back next week. We're going to get out of here. Like us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Phired Up Sports. Check us out on YouTube as well. We will see everybody next Monday. See you then.